Hello, everyone. My name is Julie, and I am one of Christian Assembly's Kingdom Partners, and it's my privilege to send this daily touch point to you. Our reading comes from 1 Chronicles 27. I encourage you to read the entire chapter. There's one phrase that really stuck out to me, and so I went to look at that. It's from verse 23, and it says David did not take the number of the men 20 years old or less, because the Lord had promised to make Israel as numerous as the stars in the sky. So this is in reference to Genesis 15. So many years prior, when God revealed himself, spoke to Abram in a dream, he had already asked Abram and his wife to leave their home, to leave their family, to leave what they knew, and to follow him. And that he had promised that Abram would be the father of many, and yet he's now old, his wife is now old, and he's the father of none, and he's, I think, disappointed, discouraged, maybe bitter that he had listened, he had followed, and he was still waiting, and probably trying to figure out whether he misheard, whether he had been misled, whether it may have felt like a cruel promise because it was such a great longing and desire that was left unfulfilled. And so if you go back to Genesis 15, and in this vision, God speaks to him and he says, "Do not be afraid, Abram. I am your shield, your very great reward." But Abram said, "O sovereign Lord, what can you give me since I remain childless, and the one who will inherit my estate is Eliezer of Damascus?" And Abram said, "You have given me no children, so a servant in my household will be my heir." That's the only way he can figure out how this is going to work out. But then God says, a word of the Lord came to him, "This man will not be your heir, but a son coming from your own body will be your heir." And then he took him outside and said, "Look up at the heavens and count the stars, if indeed you can count them." Then he said to him, "So shall your offspring be." Abraham believed the Lord, and it was credited to him as righteousness. So I think about God, the Lord asking him, taking him outside, drawing him outside into the night. And in Los Angeles, I know that there's not always a lot of stars to see in the sky, but where Abram was, where we live in Kenya, at night when we look up, the night is filled with stars. Vast. Way beyond anything that we could obviously count. And yet God can count. He does know them. He does call them by name. And yet for Abram, for me, when I sit there and I look up and I feel small at times, but I also feel like God was saying, for you, this is impossible, but it is not impossible for me. And what you desire, what I have promised, it will be fulfilled. And Abram believed him, and it was credited to him as righteousness. And so today, as we wait upon God, as we navigate maybe longings unfulfilled, may we also experience that God is able to do what we feel like is impossible. So be encouraged, friends, and may God continue to give us strength and courage as we follow him.